You still gonna try for the mint?
No.
Well, you know 6 is not a bad price either.
No.
That's easily flippable.
Yep.
That sucks. Gonna make me sick seeing this thing on Twitter blow up. Like, oh, they're going for a 1E floor now. All right, we are live. We're talking about surreals, guys. The NFTs that I've been talking about for a few times on stream. I think these are going to overtake Sappy Seals like incredibly fast. But who knows, man? It might be a big flop. But I doubt when their reserve instantly sells out that it's going to be a flop. I wonder if balls got in. Let's see. Going on, Young Investments. Good to see you guys.
Jelly, you want to go to the, if you saw the genetic chain announcement, you want to verify your ETH address?
I was looking at that. Where do... Oh, I see. Okay.
Yeah, just in bot stuff channel.
But it's just a random draw, right?
They said that if you own at least one spiral, it might be enough to get promoted and then get the chain gang pass for the next drop.
Oh, okay.
Where did you see that the reservations were full on their Twitter?
On their Discord. Yeah, a lot of people are mad.
Yeah, that was a small ass reservation.
You know how many bots probably did like 50 accounts
Yeah,
at 4?
yeah, exactly. That was the problem. Oh wait. Those claiming bots took over reservations unlikely due to the way it was structured and looked.
The way it was structured, there's no capture or anything. What do you mean? It'd be the easiest thing to bot in your fucking life.
Yeah, they don't understand.
What are they talking about?
Most likely people went straight to the contract. They don't, the bots don't even go through the site. They just find the contract and then take advantage of it.
But even if you were going to the site, it's literally click one button, put how many you want, click another button.
Yeah.
Like that's the easiest thing to bot.
Like verification.
Yeah. Hey, Vicky, Sarish, Beezer, John. Sorry, we're talking about surreals. I can show you guys on stream. I don't think there's anything on here that I can't show. These things, they're NFTs. We were trying to mint these, and they were instantly sold out. They were going for a good price, too. They were reserving for 0.06, which seems like it's very easy to flip.
You guys seen the mutant cats?
No, did you see the anonymice?
Yeah, I've seen those.
Those things are ridiculous.
For a while, they were like on the they were on like OpenSea's like top for a while now.
Yeah. All right, back to the charts. So if you guys were in Discord today, we called out a very, very easy trade right at the open. You had the value area Friday, where you had a pretty standard, just kind of outside day. And then you had a bearish day on Monday, where you had that big long tail and then we had massive value being found on the low. And then today we triggered the trade by reclaiming the value area low. So once we reclaimed 430, you had an 80% chance to go all the way back to 436, which we're almost there. It's about 75 to like 90% done on that move. But even then, we had another trade here where we were repairing the big long tail from yesterday. So when we had some price action come back and kind of fill this area here, we were kind of repairing that inefficiency. Then we had the gap fill on 434. So a lot of bullish things happened today. Right now we kind of have like an ascending triangle happening. So we should fill that trade all the way up to 436. We don't have to, but you should see that get filled pretty soon. And then if we get back below the gap, probably back below like 434, that would be getting a little weak, but for now it looks pretty good. Yeah, if you guys take a screenshot of this is a very standard reversal based on volume profile. You have that value being found right here, value found outside, and then reclaim. Those are the three things you need to happen to get that trade. They're not listed yet, I don't think, Beezer. They're still minting. I don't think I'm going to get involved, honestly. If they're like over 3x on OpenSea, I'm probably not going to get involved. I don't know.
Yo, Sticky, you there?
When it says the mint phase begins, Jelly, in 16 minutes, is it going to be on their website or on OpenSea?
I think on their website. I'm not exactly sure how they're doing this.
Okay. It could balance out, Sarish, but it would need to sell off pretty hard. I think it's more inclined to go higher here. How does NVAX look? I don't like the vaccine companies right now, to be honest. It's holding a pivot, putting in a new pivot. If you start holding above like 185, it looks decent, but the vaccine companies haven't really done anything recently. Give me 1 second, guys.
Sticky, how many spirals do you have?
I think he stepped away.
Okay.
I was about to say you're about to get rugged too.
Why, the spiral's not doing good?
Oh no. I'm talking about like I was just asking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, another thing, guys, if you guys watched my or read my new newsletter that I gave you, we hit our target on Bitcoin. So the first target was 50,200. Because we hit that target, I finally put in my stop loss. So we are long from this blue line down here. So we basically caught the bottom. That gave us about 26% on that move there. Because that target is hit, I put my stop loss below the node right here. So like around 48.5. And now we're going to let this thing run into like 52.7. And if it starts to push probably to like 52,000, then I'll raise my stop loss to where that target is, right around 50,200. But for now, we're already up like almost 30%, and that's without any leverage. And we're forex leverage. So we've already made over 100% of our account on this trade. So big trade, looking really good. We have our stop loss set at around 22%. So bare minimum, we'll make about 100% of our account on this trade. So we're happy with that.
Well, that doesn't sound like good luck. Just saw just seen a rug in the middle of the street,
Oh god.
like an actual silk rug. It's crazy.
Yeah, so going back to the newsletter, these are the levels we want to watch, right? So 50,200 has been hit. The next level is 52.7 and then 55.8. Okay. So it looks pretty good. 52.7, sorry, 50.2, 52.7, and then 55.8 is the POC. And then if we pull back to support, these are the levels you want to pay attention to: 45.9, 44.4, and then 42. It was a very easy, well, I'd say easy now, but when it first started, it was a little ridiculous. So it just kept going really close to our bids and it wouldn't fill us. But after that, once it started climbing, it was a very easy trade. I was really hoping this low was going to fill the rest of my bids, and this would have been a massive trade. We were trying to get filled on 10x, but we only got filled on 4x. So we were only getting about half the profit that we would have liked, but still not a bad trade. Yeah, I've been watching Shiba. I think Johnny's been calling it out. It's up another like 100% or something today. It's ridiculous. Yeah, 40%. It's up like 100% from the lows. 300%. Disgusting. I haven't been trading altcoins very much, to be honest. We've been trading mainly Ethereum and Bitcoin. We're coming into the end of the year, the last quarter, and I'm pretty happy with my trading throughout this year. We've already hit kind of the numbers that I wanted to hit. Excuse me. Biggest trade of the year being the shipping trade. Second biggest trade of the year was probably the Ethereum trade or the Atlas trade. And then we had the Bitcoin trade as well. So we've had a couple of big trades. We've obviously had smaller trades throughout the year, but those were like the ones that stood out. And then during the first like month of the year, if you guys were in Discord, we slayed penny stocks. So absolutely slayed penny stocks, made a killing on those. So with all those massive wins throughout the year, we had some losses too, obviously. We took a loss on silver, took a loss on gold. We had a few smaller losses throughout the year on big tech, but did very well this year. So closing it for the last quarter of the year, I'm going to be trading a lot less aggressively and just kind of maintaining my capital. We're still going to be taking some trades here and there. Going to be scalping ES throughout the last quarter. But as far as like loading up on stocks and stuff for my long-term portfolio, probably not going to be taking too many big positions.
Look at that 15-minute that just came on Facebook. Well, seems like 340 would be easy target.
A little bit of a weak high coming in here on ES 30-minute. Looking a little toppy. Yeah, John, this year was not the year for leaps, man. It really was a hard year to trade leaps because it was a very choppy year. It was not very trendy. If you were in leaps very early, we had like a premium crush in February and March. If you guys were trading back then, we took some leaps. I think it was around February, and they got absolutely destroyed faster than I've ever seen leaps get destroyed because the IV was getting crushed. So this year was just not the year for leaps. Basically, any time of the year, if you guys bought leaps, unless you bought the crush Like maybe if you bought around April, May, you would have got very good entries on leaps because the premium got destroyed in February, March. That's like the only time throughout the entire year that you probably would have had a good entry on leaps. Yeah, this was a day trade year, 100%. You're spot on. The first month of the year, we were day trading pennies, killing it on that. We day traded ES throughout the year, trading some SPY contracts, trading some Qs contracts, traded futures contracts as well. And yeah, looking back on the year, our biggest gains, besides shipping, it was mainly small trades, like going in for maybe a day or two, maybe like less than a couple days, and getting out. So it was swing trading, but it was swing trading to a very small degree. Like they were very short swing trades. But yeah. We had a couple day trades on Bitcoin too. If you guys remember when Bitcoin sold off, we bought like the bottom of that liquidation. We had a very nice trade on that. But it was either day trades or very short swing trades. If you were trying to hold things for like weeks at a time or months at a time, you were getting crushed. Even the shipping play, we only held that, I think, for less than 2 months total. And I think that was our longest hold besides our dollar play. Our dollar play we've had for like 6 months. The dollar play is the longest trade I've had this year. And we're currently down like, I think 20% on that. We were almost break even. Or no, we were actually green. I think it was yesterday or Friday when the dollar was pumping. We actually went from being down like 40% to being green on that position. I still think we have an opportunity to make a lot of money on that trade. We have like over 100 days until expiration. You had plug and BTU leaps. You sold way too early. The leaps that would have paid massively this year were oil leaps or energy leaps. If you were trading the energy sector and you got in early, they paid massively. Like, look at oil, man. Oil has been killing it this year. You had one big correction in like July to August, but besides that, look at 2021. You're literally just straight up. Straight up, small correction, straight up. How do I buy options with on Dixie? I trade UUP. It's almost identical. So if you want to play Dixie, you just play UUP. It's a dollar ETF. The only thing that sucks about UUP is it gaps a lot and the liquidity is very low. So when you get filled, you have to get filled piece by piece. Like I had to go in like a few contracts at a time. I had to fill like 2 contracts here, 5 contracts there, 2 contracts there. It's very hard to get filled on a lot of contracts because their liquidity is not very good. Do I like BABA? Not really. I don't like any Chinese stocks. I've been saying that all year. I think Chinese stocks was one of the worst investments. My problem that I had throughout the year is I called a lot of these things that were just shitting the bed and nuking, but I never shorted them. And it's mainly because of COVID. Like COVID kind of broke my short mentality. Seeing how quickly everything bounced back from the COVID lows and everything just went straight up for so long, it was really hard for me to get back into my like short mentality and short things like BABA. But as I've said throughout the year, Chinese stocks were just not the play. It was a very bad sector to be in. I like BABA if it can get back towards like 120 to 100. I think that's a better buying opportunity for long term, but it's hard to buy it here. I mean, you could be buying a big support around this like 130 area. I think if you buy here, you have to be okay with taking a drawdown to at least 120, maybe 100. If you're okay with that drawdown, then yes, you could probably buy BABA here. But China is not the sector that it was in 2020. 2021 was one of the worst years for the China sector. I mentioned this was a weak high earlier on ES, and now we're getting that sell-off. You can see that sell-off starting to form here. Yeah, exactly, Turnip. With the whole Evergrande thing, their economy's not looking too good. Yeah, missing in action. That's exactly. And I've talked about this a few times on stream. Like people always ask me like what my system is and what are my rules, and I tell you guys it's mostly intuition. I have a bunch of different systems that I like to use. I cover them on stream, and I got a bunch of videos on YouTube kind of going over my different systems. But when it comes down to like entering and exiting, I rarely rely on like set in stone rules. With an exception to like say my ES strategy, my 30-minute ES strategy, when I'm buying these pivots, these 30-minute pivots, that's one of the times where I'll take a trade solely on like a set in stone thing, like a pivot. Funny enough, the 1 hour pivot was actually better than the 30-minute here. The 1 hour pivot was disgustingly clean. We actually have a new 1 hour pivot coming in that's kind of putting in the top. It's a little worrying. But yeah, like I've said over the years, all of my trading put together into like one sentence is I try to trade the shifts in momentum. So like take today for example. I didn't trade this today. But this is a style of a trade that I would typically take. This is momentum shifting, right? You have momentum going from the downside, shifting into the upside. So this is a beautiful trade for my system. So you could have taken this trade all the way up until 436. Now, I was dealing with a bunch of shit. I wasn't really trading this morning, so we missed that trade. But this is a good example of kind of what I like to trade. Downtrend shifting into an uptrend. I'm very bad at breakout trading. I've tried breakout trading throughout the years of my trading, and more often than not, I get faked out. My breakout trades are really, they're far worse than my reversal trades. Like take Bitcoin, for example. This trade that we took recently on Bitcoin, we damn near bottom. We damn near caught the bottom, right? But that's not a breakout trade. Like these are the trades that I do very well in. When I'm finding levels that are like key levels that price is going to sweep into, or price is going to like liquidate into, stuff like that. I'm good at buying stuff like that. I'm not good at buying breakouts. That other trade that I was talking about was this one here. We damn near bought the low on that wick as well. And then we sold it on the pump. So we caught that low and we caught this low. And then the trade that I didn't take, that would have been the trade of the year, was when I called out the loss of 56.6. This is momentum shifting to the downside, right? So we liquidated all of our Bitcoin. This is where I closed all of my Bitcoin. And we were all out of Bitcoin around 56.6. And the reason I didn't like that level is because momentum was completely shifting from the upside to the downside. And I noticed that shift and I got out. What I should have done is I should have shorted and we would have made a killing. But going back to what I said earlier, how quickly everything pumped from COVID all the way up, it really broke my spirit for shorting. It made it very hard for me to try to find shorts. And I've been kind of permabull in the sense that I only want to buy and I only want to long, kind of since COVID. And it's been working out, so and it's not that big of a deal. I'm not hating on it, but I could have made a lot of money if I would have shorted that move right there. If we would have shorted the China sector, right? But I've been long heavy all year. We've only been longing. I don't think I've taken any big put positions all year. It's just very hard to take puts when you see a market like COVID. The buyers are extremely strong. They come out of nowhere. They hold their trend for a long period of time. The shorts are mainly getting faked out. A lot of traps. It's just very hard to short during a season like that. The only breakout trades that we took this year that did well were the breakout trades based on my Fibonacci technique. Like take CAR, for example. CAR was a really good one. And it's actually hitting our second target right now. Or I guess you'd say third target. These breakout trades are usually really good. When it's breaking the 0.13 and then you're hitting our levels, these are really good trades. Oh, hold on. Surreals is doing the mint. Are you minting, Jelly?
No, so what happens now is those who reserved can mint.
Oh, what the fuck?
And then,
Oh, we can't mint for an hour.
yeah, so then it's open to everyone to allow to
Okay.
mint. Yeah.
Gotcha. All right.
It's an interesting way of doing it.
Yeah.
I was too late on this, but Deja, for Facebook, you know all that the craziness that happened yesterday?
Yeah.
Was that a good buying opportunity? Because that's a one-off situation, correct?
Yeah, you could buy the blood on something like that. And I talked about it on stream where I said it was kind of early. It could go down to like 317 to 320. But then I saw the 200 EMA, and we mentioned in Discord how it was bouncing off the 200 EMA. But yeah, you could have definitely bought the 200 EMA sell off for sure.
Dang.
I think you're still pretty safe. Like if you buy here, you just have to be willing to add on down to like 320. Like if you're willing to add to like 320, 315, I think it's still a pretty good buy. Not even a 50% retracement, I believe, from this impulse. Let's see. Yeah, almost 50%. Netflix is on fire, man. I closed my long-term shares a little early on that. Closed my
Also-
short-term way too early.
You got out of all your shipping?
Yeah,
Stocks?
closed all my shipping. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah, my first sell on Netflix, my short term, I sold around 558, I think it was, when it broke that move. And then we sold our long term somewhere around 590, I believe it was 590, 600. But now it's at 640. Disgusting. What was the lotto I called yesterday on Facebook? It was the gap fill. It's probably printing right now. It was the 342.50s or the 340s, I believe it was. Let me go check what those are at. Do you guys remember on stream? What was the price that I mentioned on stream? I do not remember off the top of my head. I'd have to go back and look at the stream. The 342.50s are at $1.20. The 340s are at $1.80. They were at 70. Yeah, so they're up almost 100%. So there you guys go. 100% in a day. Don't say I never helped you. And that's kind of what I was talking about yesterday when I mentioned those lottos. Is what Jelly was mentioning is it's just kind of a one-off thing. Like they were mainly selling off because they had a massive outage, and then it was combined with the whistleblower news. The whistleblower thing I don't really understand. I tweeted about it today. The whistleblower is actually helping Facebook, so I don't. The term whistleblower is kind of blown out of proportion for that one. The whistleblower is trying to allow social media censorship. That's what the big companies want. So it's like the first time in a while that we've seen a whistleblower come out, but she's whistleblowing for things that the corporations already want to do. I don't get it. It's quite ridiculous.
She was a Karen.
She's definitely it seems like a psyop. It seems like she is placed for sure. I don't think I've ever in the history of whistleblowers seen a whistleblower come out and say something that was actually good for the company. She was saying some other things that were kind of bad too, like she was putting in some bad with the good. But overall, her agenda is creating censorship on the platforms. And that is something that Twitter and Facebook and Google have all come together and said that they want censorship. They want to be able to censor their users. So I don't know. Very strange. Some people are saying it's staged. It does seem very very staged. At first, she was coming out and saying like Facebook is bad. They push forward a lot of stuff onto your timeline that is negative. They're constantly trying to keep you on the platform by giving you like negative news, yada yada yada, all the stuff that we already know. But then she shifted into the censorship side of it, and it's like I don't understand that. And then I was reading that Facebook denied that there was any malicious, there was anything malicious going on with their outage yesterday. They were saying that they couldn't find any traces of anything malicious. Like they were saying it was just an outage. Something went wrong. They weren't getting hacked or anything, which I thought was strange because I thought I read headlines that they were saying that it was a Chinese hacker group. I saw a headline that was fake news. It was from a fake account. But I saw headlines that were from regular news people that were saying that it was a hacker group. So I'm not sure if it was malicious or not. You never know nowadays, man. Twitter is very hard to distinguish the fake news from the real news. Little toppy here on SPY and ES. Failing the 30-minute pivot that we put in, kind of retesting. You see the wick coming in, retesting that candle, not looking too good. Go down to a 1 minute. It's getting sold off a little bit here. New lows. Have I traded Penn this year? Yeah, I think we traded Penn a few times. I can't remember exactly off the top of my head. I was going to trade this recent move that we ended up not trading. Where was it? It was a trade that I posted in Discord in like the analysis, but I ended up not taking it. I think we were in too many positions at the time. But I told you guys that once it broke this wedge, you were going to head for the 200 EMA. And then once we broke the 200 EMA, we could start to climb into that 100 level. This ended up being kind of a fake out here. And then you lost the 200 EMA, and now we're retesting it bearishly. So this doesn't look too good here. You need to get back above the 200 EMA as soon as possible. And I bought these new earmuffs for my headphones, and they're actually kind of annoying. They're not very comfortable. Really nice bounce on PayPal right off that pivot that we marked out on 252. Nice gain of momentum as well. Yeah, CCJ's a little choppy, and that's kind of why we're selling premium, because you don't want to be a buyer when something is this choppy. You want to be a seller, right? So we're selling premium. It just has to hold above 20 by next Friday, and we're okay. Knock on wood. If it goes below 20, then we'll just sell some calls. Probably sell some 21, sell some 22s. That's mostly what I'm going to be focusing on for the rest of the year is premium. Just getting in some low maintenance trades and selling premium on some names that I wouldn't mind holding. I've been searching around for good premium recently, and I just couldn't find very much. CCJ, when I took that trade, was pretty decent premium. We almost took a PLTR premium trade. Good thing we didn't. We would have been underwater on that one. It was decent premium, but not the greatest. And then what else? We almost took Wells Fargo. That one was also decent, not the greatest. We tried to take a premium trade on XLE, the energy sector. Sadly, didn't get filled on that. We missed our fill by like 10 cents. It was ridiculous. And then that thing pumped. That would have been a really good trade if any of you guys got filled on that trade. We were trying to take it way back here when we were breaking this little range. We were looking for a break into like 52, 53, went all the way up to 55, so that would have been an easy trade. Beautiful breakout happening here on Bitcoin. Look at the Momo on Bitcoin. This is very key to what's happening. This is showing you that the trend is breaking bullishly and the short-term momentum is breaking bullishly. So this is a very bullish move, the most bullish move probably of the year based on the Momo. Except for the move back in July, that was very good, and the move back in February was also very good. Yeah, I'm very happy that we're currently long. We're holding spot Ethereum too. We're making money on that as well. We bought our Ethereum around 3,000. I think it was like 29 something, 29.50. And then we bought our Bitcoin around 39.6. So very good entries on both. Basically just playing the waiting game now, just holding on. Little nasty sell-off here. This is kind of interesting that we did not finish the 436 profile trade. Topped out around 435.50, so 50 cents away from filling that trade. The only downside to what we just did today is we're putting in a big gap. So we have a gap right here. So we can actually move the gap. We had a gap here that's filled. Now we have a gap down here. So we have a big gap below us. And then we also have a very big imbalance right here. So a big tail. We had a tail yesterday, and then we repaired it today. So we could go for kind of a similar day tomorrow, where we repair the low side and then maybe fill the gap. That would be really bad. You'd obviously retrace the entire move, but it would not surprise me seeing how we retrace that move, retraced. It's retracing every single move. So would not be surprising if we sell off below like 433. Small bull div coming in. Volatility is back, yeah. The VIX is slowly getting back below 20. If it gets back below 20, it's looking really good. Yeah, the market is bullish if VIX is back below 20. Exactly. It's currently at 21. So if we can get back below 20, kind of hover around 18 to 19, that's when things start to look pretty good. Dixie's a little green today, so a little worrying. Then we had the yields. The yields are actually going up pretty heavy, which, funny enough, the growth sector didn't really care about. Typically, when yields pump short term, the growth sector doesn't do too well. But the growth is all green today. Big tech's green even with yields. And that's okay. They're not always a direct correlation. So it's not that big of a deal. Kind of a nasty sell-off here into the close. Bitcoin's pumping. Yeah, I saw that earlier. Looking good. Oh, look at that. 51,400. That's a huge move. Our next target is 52.7. Looking really good. Am I doing anything with the price targets? I'm not sure what you mean, Bronx. I'm currently long on Bitcoin, and those are my targets. The first target I did not sell on, but I did put my stop loss in right below it. And now that we're hitting our second target, I'm going to be raising my stop loss pretty soon. And then once we hit the next level, where is it at? Once we hit like 53, maybe 56, I'm going to start laddering, probably selling on the high instead of pulling my stop loss. But for now, I'm just pulling my stop loss because I think this can run pretty hard. But no, I would not be shorting this, to be honest. I honestly wouldn't feel good shorting this until maybe 56, 61 maybe. It looks like it's getting ready to just destroy everybody who's shorting. It looks like it's about to just melt upwards. It would not surprise me. Is it a good or bad idea to buy ES at a single print? It depends on where the single print is, how it's reacting to it. It's kind of intuition. It's not really a set in stone rule. Like if we were like pumping and then we slowly consolidated downward into the single print, then yeah, you could probably buy that. You can see that weak high that I mentioned right at the start of the stream became the top. And what I mean by weak high is you have like a little topping pattern, you have the pivot, and then we try to break the pivot, but then it tops out immediately. So it becomes like a fake out, right? It becomes a weak high. The high is weak. So we have kind of that high get put in. Like right here, right? We have that high being put in. And then we have wick, wick, wick. But then look at how the wicks are lower, right? So you're like losing that high. So then once you lose the pivot, it's just bearish from there. It's all relative, Young. Everyone has their own way of identifying it, but it's basically just any big candles that are engulfing major moves or getting a lot of volume. That's kind of how I would identify it. Nasty sell-off here, man. Not a good sell-off. Still very bullish. Obviously, still in a P-shaped profile, but not the best close. Did you guys see? So here's a good example. Young, you asked how do you identify pumping and dumping? Here you go. Did you guys see CEI today? Completely pump and dumped. This is why you don't listen to Twitter gurus who pump you fucking penny stocks. They try to push you their bags, right? Whenever somebody talks about a penny stock and they say like, oh, it's currently at $1, it could easily go to $50. Like, that's how you know they're just trying to pump and dump on you. If they're being reasonable, like, okay, it's at $1, the previous high is at $3, maybe we could go to $3 here. That's reasonable. Like, oh, maybe stop loss like down below 70 cents or something, you know what I mean? Put your stop loss below support. They give you like a reasonable trade. If they tell you a fucking penny stock is going to go from $1 to $20 or $50, they're pump and dumping the shit out of you. This thing went from $1 to $5 back down to $1. Completely shit on in one day, 52%. Don't fall for that stupid shit. What did we say back when we were trading pennies in January? We were constantly preaching risk management, not putting in too much money, not putting in more money than you're willing to lose, treating it like a lotto, right? We constantly were preaching that. Every single fucking penny stock that we were trading, we were telling you guys, be careful. These things can go to zero, like, very easily. Fuck, even one of the penny stocks that we traded got delisted. We were stuck in this thing for like 2 months because we couldn't even trade it because it got delisted from the stock exchange. Nasty sell-off here, man. Thing's nuking. Look at that 1 minute pivot retest. So this is on a 1 minute, obviously, so take this as you will, but if you see this kind of pattern on a high time frame, this is a very good shorting pattern for the pivots. So if you guys are using the OTS and you see a pivot come in, and like every time you try to break the pivot, you like fail, and then it gives you like this really clean retest like this, that is a very good short. Same exact pattern right there. That one just didn't play out as beautifully. It kind of shows you that like this is the level. We're trying to break out of it, but we can't because the buyers are weak. Then we push away from it, and then it gives you a beautiful retest to get in. And you don't even really need the pivots, obviously. You can use basic standard support and resistance to find those fake outs. The pivots are just making it very obvious most of the time. So very good day, even with the sell-off here, still very bullish. Like I said, it would not surprise me if SPY came down to repair kind of the rest of this day here and then maybe fill the gap. It really sucks that we left that gap open. If we would have gapped up, filled it, and then ran, that would have been really bullish. But because that gap is open, it's a little worrying. But all right, guys, I'm going to call it on that. I appreciate you guys being here. Make sure if you guys like the content to hit that like button. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe. I stream 5 days a week. If you're new to trading, you want to learn more, go to my How to Trade playlist on YouTube. That will definitely help you out. If you guys are in Discord, I'll be posting the analysis later today. Probably right now. I got to make a few phone calls, but I should be posting it within the next hour or two. So make sure you watch the analysis channel. I'll give you guys some updated trade plans there. And if you guys are not in the Discord, I'll catch you guys tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern. I'll see you guys then. Peace.